Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Mastered All of the Breathing Techniques Part 2. Before we start, please go support Angel Gonzalez 753 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. Outs. It had been approximately a couple of days after the battle against Kakabiel, where Issei had been meditating a lot since it seemed like a good method to relax and also to think about what had happened recently, because it was no wonder since he managed to, so to speak, defeat a cadre, something that for any deer would be impossible unless you are one of very high power. On the other hand, Nin had not woken up since the fight ended, but what made everyone think was that the little girl was beginning to regenerate her leg. Issei. So many things in such a short time, he said calmly. I see you're meditating, said the girl, making one of her typical surprise appearances. Issei. We'll see each other again, Yusureoka-san, he said calmly as he opened his eyes. I'll be direct as you learn to use 3 different breaths, she said. It must be a rare thing for her. Issei. I don't know what he means, he says it as if it were something strange or weird, he said curiously. Because that would be practically impossible. A hunter can only use one breathing style, whether it is one derived from solar breathing such as earth, fire, water, air and lightning, or their derivatives such as mine, the flower one, she said seriously. Issei. Solar breathing, that must be the dance of the fire god that the master spoke of, he thought seriously. Don't stay quiet, answer, she said seriously. Issei. Maybe it's because I'm a different hunter, he said seriously. Seriously, that's your explanation, she said seriously. Issei. You know, not even I know, I was simply trained by 3 great masters and they taught me their combat styles, he said seriously. Now because you are working with a demon, you as a hunter have the duty to finish them off, he said seriously. Issei. That demon you're talking about has a name, it's called Nin, and she's good. Second, I swore to help her sister, and third, I'm not a hunter, he said seriously. If you are not, you do not deserve to use those weapons, they were created to kill demons and protect humans, she said angrily, unsheathing her sword. Issei. That's what you think. For me, these weapons were a gift given by my masters in order to protect the innocent, and if you can't see the goodness in Nin, that's your problem, he said seriously. Don't come to me with that, I've seen enough to know that demons are despicable beings that must die, she said angrily, slashing at the brown-haired boy. Issei. Well, it seems that you haven't seen anything, he said seriously, activating a magic circle and disappearing from the place. Don't run away, coward. Gu Academy. The chestnut tree has just appeared from behind a tree just in time for the start of classes, since the chestnut tree had this little habit of meditating in the early morning. Issei. Just in time, he said calmly as he walked to his classroom, receiving glances from his brothers, one of hatred, the other of doubt, since the battle with the crow, his brother had felt great hatred when he saw that Issei was more powerful than him, while his sister felt distressed since she did not know if the brown-haired boy was at 100% after the fight. Teacher. Okay guys, please take your seats quickly today, even though it may seem strange, we will have a new classmate joining the class, so please be kind, he said calmly while gesturing to the door. Issei. I wonder who joins an academy in the middle of the course, he thought sleepily. Yuri. Nice to meet you, my name is Nozomi Yuri, I hope we get along, said the purple-haired girl, surprising 4 people in the place. Issei, Yuri said surprised. Yuri. Oh hello Issei-kun, she said happily. Students. What was the cry of the majority when they saw that the new student knew the brown-haired boy? Murayama. Yes Miss Nozomi, you know Haidu, but he is a pervert, she said surprised. Yuri. Issei pervert, ha 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 ha, what a good joke, really very good. Issei is the kindest and gentlest person I have ever met, he even helped me with my sister when she was sick, she said calmly, surprising everyone. Hadis. That can't be true, she said incredulously, like most. Yuri. If you are not able to know a person and you let yourself be influenced by what people say, then that is your problem, she said calmly, leaving everyone speechless. Teacher. Okay, miss, take a seat in front of young Haidu, he said calmly. Yuri. Sure, she said calmly as she greeted the boy and sat in front of him. Issei. Today will be a long day. 7 hours later. Classes had ended and the brown-haired boy arrived at the club, relaxing a bit after the torture of school, but this time he didn't arrive alone, as the purple-haired girl accompanied him to the club to see his sister. Rias. Hello Nozomi-chan, I see that you were able to enroll in the academy, she said calmly. Yuri. Yes but it was all thanks to Citri Kaichu, he said happily. Issei. I see, thanks to her you were able to change, he said calmly. Yuri. Yes, since I am more related to this world and I will continue training with you, I thought it would be best to study here, and I also think it is the best for Nin, she said calmly. Rias. Speaking of which, I know you're very worried about leaving your sister here since it's normal, she's your sister, and that's why I had this created, so you can move your sister from one place to another, she said calmly. While using magic, she made a somewhat large box appear, but with 2 straps. Yuri. And this, she said, surprised like the rest of those present. Rias. It's a box where you can put your sister, and you can bring her and take her away even during the day, since it has a hermetic seal that won't receive daylight, she said calmly. Yuri. Thank you very much, she said very happily. Rias. You don't have to thank me, she said calmly. Yuri. I have to see that baby comes in, and she couldn't continue because she saw how her sister was on all fours covered with a sheet to avoid the sun that was still there. Yuri. Look baby, it's so I can carry you, she said happily as the little girl crawled while everyone watched as she became smaller and entered the box. All. She became small, they all spoke surprised. Yuri. What do you think, kid? She said curiously. Nin. The little girl peeked out of the box. Rias Akeno Asia Kaneko Iseei Yuri. Kawaii, all the females present thought. Issei. What a peculiar girl. He couldn't continue because a magic circle appeared in the middle of everyone from which 2 redeeds, a brunette and a silver-haired girl came out. Surzich. Hello Rias. School day. Issei and the entire Gremory entourage were quite surprised by the appearance of the Mayu and the Gremory family, but they also felt a little worried not knowing how they would react when they saw that a human was present in that same place. Rias Nai Sama Odo-san Oka-san Grafia, what are you doing here, she said nervously. Surzich. Well, since tomorrow is Father's Day, we didn't want to miss that big day, and that's why we came, and Rias, she said happily, but she said the last part in a cold and serious voice. Rias. Yes Nai Sama, she said nervously when she saw her brother's tone of voice. Surzich. What is a human doing here? He said seriously, causing a shiver in almost everyone present except a certain brown-haired boy who didn't care what happened to the girl. Rias. Well I couldn't continue because the girl spoke. Yuri. Nice to meet you Mayu Lucifer, and it's also a pleasure to meet you Lord and Lady Gremory. My name is Nozomi Yuri, Rias Gremory's next pawn, she said in a very respectful and calm way, leaving the place speechless. Surzich. You are a new pillar of my sister, he said with a raised eyebrow. Rias. Yes, what happens is that she is an excellent swordswoman, and she also has great magical potential that we met one day when a renegade demon attacked her, and that is why I decided to reincarnate her, but first I decided to tell her everything about the supernatural world, and in a couple of days I would reincarnate her, she said a little nervously, but trying to sound as convincing as possible. Surzich. Oh, I see, it's nice to meet you, he said calmly. Vanilla. It's also a pleasure to meet my daughter's new roommate, she said happily while her husband nodded. Yuri. The pleasure is mine Lady Gremory, Mayu Lucifer, she said calmly while bowing. Surzich. Okay, Rias, we'll go home. We'll see you there, he said calmly as the adults left. Issei. Wow, that was close, he said calmly. Iseei. Yuri-san, that was amazing how fast you acted, she said surprised. Rias. She's right, you saved me from a big problem, she said calmly. Yuri. Well, it just occurred to me, she said nervously. Issei. Well, let's go rest. The next day. We can see all the students of the Ku Academy a little nervous and worried since their parents were present at the academy, which did not mean something good, but for the brown-haired boy this did not matter since his parents were more important than his brothers, something that he did not care about. But when classes began and it was revealed that Issei was one of the most intelligent students, he surprised the older brown-haired boys. Teacher. Okay, boy, now as the next activity you will show your dexterity with your hands as you will make figures with clay. You will be given a block. If you need more, just ask for it, he said calmly while the boys began to work and the parents filmed them. Issei. What will I do? He said curiously as he cleared his mind and began to work. Yuri. Hey Issei, how are you? She said curiously as she made a big heart and then some small ones. Issei. I'm doing well, he said calmly as the minutes began to pass. 18 minutes later. Yuri. I'm done, what do you think? She said happily showing a big heart and inside of it there were smaller ones that had the names of her relatives written on them. Issei. It's very cute, he said without looking. Yuri. I say what the hell, he said something loud catching everyone's attention. Murayama. Wow, hi, do you did that, she said incredulously. Hadis. It's amazing, she said while everyone looked at the chestnut sculpture. Issei. Really, he said calmly looking at his work without realizing that someone in a tree was watching him. Wow, that boy is talented, but how does he know about Tanjiro Kamado? Mai is right, this boy is peculiar. Issei. Wow, finally a break, I don't know why this day seemed longer than the others, he said a little sleepy. Yuri. Well, at least we can eat, I'm starving, he said happily. Issei. At least I'm hungry now. By the way, you left Neen at the club, he said curiously. Yuri. Yes, it seems that he regenerates when he sleeps, and that makes me happy. I prefer him to sleep than to eat people, she said calmly. Issei. Yes, without a doubt it is better. He couldn't continue because they both saw a large number of boys running to the gym very excited. Yuri. What's wrong? She said curiously. Issei. We're not going to see each other. So the pair of young people went to the gym, seeing how a large number of boys were taking photos of a black-haired girl in a magical girl outfit who, to the delight of the spectators, was striking different poses. Yuri. And who is this? She said incredulously. Issei. I don't know, he said, the same as her. Rias. She is Serafal, Sona's sister and Mau Leviathan, she said, appearing with her parents, brother and sister-in-law. Yuri. Seriously, she's a Mau, he said in shock. Serafal. Oh, but you are the Gremory pawn who defeated Razor, said the Mau appearing in front of the brown-haired boy. Issei. Nice to meet you, Haidu Issei, he said, a bit nervous about the woman's attitude. Serafal. Of course I know, the whole underworld knows you after what happened with Razor. Well, let me introduce myself. I am Serafal Leviathan, the magical girl, she said, leaving the brown-haired girl and the purple-haired girl with a WTF face and the supernaturals with a drop of sweat. Sona. Nasama, what did I tell you about coming dressed like that? She said seriously, scaring most people when they saw her appear. Serafal. Hi Sona, she said, a little nervous and sad. Issei. Wow, even his older sister is afraid of him, he thought, surprised. Sona. Well, I want an explanation, she said seriously. Serafal. Well, I couldn't continue because Serzic spoke. Serzic. Enough, Sona, Serafal is your older sister and you must respect her even if she wants to dress like that, he said seriously. Sona. As Mau Lucifer says, she said seriously as she turned around and left. Serafal. Sona-esque, she will never be my little sister again, she said sadly. Rias. Calm down, Serafal, you'll see that one day Sona will be the same again, she said, consoling the Mau. Serzic. Well, I wanted to talk to both of them, but I think that I won't be able to, so Rias, I want you to tell Sona the following, he said seriously. Rias. What's wrong, Naisama, she said curiously. Serzic. In 3 days there will be a meeting of factions at the academy, he said, seriously surprising the Redeed's entourage. Rias. I understand, I'll tell Sona, she said nervously. Serzic, and one more thing, he said seriously. Rias. What a thing, she said curiously. Serzic. Release your second bishop. The meeting begins. We can see Issei and the entire Gremory entourage with Yuri in front of a large door that when opened they could see a rather dark room where the only thing that could be seen was a coffin and a few candles that made the atmosphere a little tense. Issei. It's here, he said curiously. Iseei. How scary, she said, a little scared. Rias. Okay, Gasper, come out, she said seriously. Gasper. No, I'm not going out, said a voice inside the coffin. Rias. Gasper obeys, he said seriously, opening the coffin, but those present could not see anything since the person was covered with a blanket. Gasper. No, please, but I don't want to, I'm scared, he said scared. Issei. Hey, don't be afraid, we won't do anything to you, he said curiously as he took the blanket and removed it. Isaac. It's her, he said incredulously, like the rest who didn't know him. Yuri. But how pretty, she said amazed. Gasper. I'm sorry, but I'm a boy, he said nervously. Rias. 3, 2, 1, she said calmly while she and Akeno covered their ears. Everyone whattt. Issei. What the heck, he said incredulously. Isaac. How is it possible, but he is as cute as a girl, he said incredulously. Yuri. Why do you wear girl clothes? She said confused. Gasper. Because girls' clothes look really cute on me, he said a little nervously. Issei. I'm leaving, I won't live in a world where people can make people doubt their sexuality, he said seriously while taking out his sword. Iseei. No brother, don't do that, she said nervously while holding her brother to prevent him from doing something crazy. Rias. Okay, enough, behave, Gasper, let's go, we have to train you, she said seriously. Gasper. But he said nervously. Rias. But you said, but she said seriously looking at the boy. Gasper. No, I didn't say anything, he said scared as he stood up and left with the rest. Rias. I thought so. 20 minutes later. Issei. And well, but you, who is Gasper in itself, makes him special, he said curiously while talking to her. Rias. Well, it's hard to explain, but he is a half-vampire and he also has a sacred gear capable of stopping time, or well, stopping the time of those he sees, she said calmly while drinking tea. Yuri. Wow, real vampire, she said amazed. Issei. Interesting, well, how will he train him, he said curiously. Rias. I want him to improve his skills with his sacred gear so he can completely stop a person, but he is very fearful and that has caused him self-esteem problems, she said with her head down. Iseei. Come on but you, don't be like that. We can all help Gasper to put his fears aside, she said happily. Issei. That could help if we all support him. I think he could improve and he couldn't continue because Gasper ran and followed by Kaneko. Gasper. Kaya, please take it away, he said scared while everyone watched as there was garlic in the loli's hand. Issei. Kaneko, I think that could be harmful for him, he said with a forced smile. Gasper. No please, he couldn't continue because he collided with the baby's box. Rias. Georgia. Gasper, are you okay, she said incredulously after what she had just seen. Gasper. Yes I am. There is something in the box, he said nervously while running behind Issei. Yuri. Yes, she is my sister, she said calmly while Gasper looked at her confused. Gasper. Your sister, he couldn't continue because he saw the baby coming out of the box. Yuri. Wow baby, your leg is fine now, what a relief, he couldn't continue because everyone saw how the baby started to grow. Issei. But what happened to her? He said incredulously while everyone looked at the girl who had taken the appearance of a young woman of approximately 20 years old. Dibba. Gasper. Isaac. But how pretty, they thought when they saw the girl. Rias. Well, it's surprising to see what Neen just did, but Gasper, you have to train to improve, she said seriously. Gasper. Yes, but you. Reunion day. Everything was finally ready for the meeting. Both groups were in the student council, which would be the venue for the meeting, and it could be seen that the atmosphere was somewhat tense, since what was going to happen was an unprecedented event, since the three biblical factions were going to meet for the first time. Issei. I'm sure it's okay that you're here, he said curiously looking at Yuri. Yuri. Well, I have to explain what happened with my sister and how I helped Kaneko, he said calmly. Rias. Yuri, taking this role will make you have a demonic essence so as not to raise suspicion, she said calmly. Yuri. Thank you, she said calmly. Rias. You're welcome, she couldn't continue because three magic circles appeared from which a blonde man came out accompanied by Irina and Zenobia, in the second a black-haired man with yellow locks came out accompanied by an Alvin boy, and in the last Surzich came out with Grafia and Serafo, but also the Phoenix entourage, but without a razor. Surzich. I'm glad to see we're all here, he said calmly. Michael. You're right, he said in a very calm voice. Rias. Ravel, what are you doing here? She said curiously. Ravel. We came as escorts of the Mao Leviathan, she said calmly. Rias. And Razor, she said curiously while his entourage lowered their heads. Ravel. He abandoned them after losing to you, saying that they were good for nothing, but since they were my friends, I decided to make them my entourage, she said calmly. Rias. I see, she said somewhat surprised. Surzich. Well then let's start the meeting starting with the topic of Kakabiel, he said seriously. Azazel. For my part, I regret what happened. I should have kept a closer eye on that madman, he said sincerely. Michael. I'm glad you don't support those ideas, but what about the rest of the fallen? He said seriously. Azazel. I have already started looking for anyone who has such ideas and we have put them in imprisonment, he said seriously. Surzich. I see now. I would like the Gremory and Citrierises along with the church envoys to give their report of what happened, he said seriously. So both Rias and the other three girls told in detail how the mission was in the case of the church members and on Ria's part how the battle went, surprising no one else present when hearing how Issei fought and was winning against Kakabiel. Rias. Later the hacker Yuiku appeared and took the cadre along with his deer. Ali. Indeed, I arrived finding Kakabiel quite injured by the Gremory pawn and I took him, he said seriously. Greg. Be careful, my friend, he is the target of your rival, he said in the girl's mind. Iseei. Yes Drake, I will have it, he said in his mind. Michael. Well, that clears things up for us, he said calmly. Azazel. If he also tells you that the Gremory pawn is enough, he couldn't continue because out of nowhere several people came through the door. Sona. Who are you and how did you get in? She said seriously while everyone was on guard, but Issei recognized a certain person. Relax, we did not come with hostile intentions, said a person with a bandaged head calmly. Surzich. Who are they? He said seriously. We are the Demon Slayers. Hunters organization. Everything fell silent as everyone present at the meeting looked at the newcomers who had just introduced themselves as the Demon Hunter organization, but the more they looked, the more the Gremory and Citri entourages could recognize, as well as Issei, Mai, who saved them from a demon on one occasion. Surzich. Demon Hunters, he said seriously. Nice to meet you, Mao Lucifer, Mao Leviathan, Archangel Michael and Cadre Azazel, he said calmly, surprising most people to know that he knew the leaders of the three factions. Michael. I see that you know us, but who are you? He said calmly. Pardon my manners, my name is Kadiabayashiki, he said calmly. Azazel. Wow, the Yabayashiki family is still in charge of the organization, so the rumors were true, the demons returned, he said seriously. Yabayashiki. That's right, I see that you still remember the agreement that was made between each faction to treat the demons with my great-grandfather Kagami Yabayashiki, he said calmly. Michael. If the situation of the demons reached a point where the factions could not cope, he said calmly. Surzich. Well, young Yabayashiki, what do we owe your presence to? He said curiously. Yabayashiki. First of all, seeing that the three factions are gathered together, we will renew the treaty between us, and second, it is something that members of the organization found, he said calmly. Surzich. Sure, no problem, he said calmly, while the other two leaders nodded. Yabayashiki. I understand and thank you. Well, before continuing, I would like my children to introduce themselves, he said calmly, while turning his head looking at his companions. I'll be the first, my name is Yusure Okamai, nice to meet you, said the girl that the Gremory and Citri entourages knew. Nice to meet you, I'm Hanamana, said a calm black-haired girl with one discolored eye and strange marks on the side of her body. A pleasure, my name is Shiroi Hyoga, said a blue-haired boy who just by looking at him, generated a feeling of cold. Hello, nice to meet you Shihomi Mino, said a somewhat small girl who stood out when she saw that her sword was bigger than her. Nice to meet you, I'm Sakoho Makuri, said a very serious orange-haired girl. My name is Fu Huin, said a boy with his uniform somewhat modified with a flute. Honored to meet you, my name is Kimura Fubuki, said a blonde girl with a headband. Tsukataka Yoichi, said the most mature of all, a young man with long hair who carried a bow with him. And finally I introduce myself, I am Sayori Hirasi, said a girl with pink hair like her eyes. Azazel. Wow, they are the new generation of pillars, he said curiously looking at the hunters. Yabayashiki. Not yet, not only Hyoga and Tsukataka are pillars, the rest are one step away from becoming pillars, but they are the strongest hunters at present, he said calmly. Michael. I see, and well, what is that topic you are referring to? He said curiously. Yabayashiki. Well, you see, Mai and Fubuki have discovered that the Gremory entourage along with a girl are living with a demon, he said seriously. Surzich. Rias, that's true, you know how dangerous that can be, he said seriously looking at his sister. Rias. Well, she said nervously. Iri. What he says is true, that demon is my older sister, and the Gremory clan has helped me take care of her, she is not bad, and she could not continue because someone interrupted her. Woman. A demon, well that's ridiculous, said one of the hunters seriously. Arasi. It's true that demons are monsters thirsty for flesh and blood, said the pink-haired girl seriously. Hana. Poor girl, her ties with the demon cloud her judgment, said the girl, while she shed a few small tears. Tsukataka. We must free his pain by taking care of that demon, said the young man seriously. Sakoho. It's true, as long as that demon is alive, he will be in imminent danger, he said seriously, upsetting Yuri. Shihomi. If so, please give me the honor of ending your life, she said amused. Hyoga. You have to act sadistically always, he said curiously. Yuri. I will not allow them to hurt my sister, she said angrily. Gremory Isakuri, they spoke worriedly. Fubuki. You don't have to scream, she said seriously appearing in front of her, hitting her in the abdomen, knocking her to the ground. Mai. Hey, you didn't have to act so aggressive, you don't make a good impression, said the girl calmly. Yabayashiki. I see that your sister is very important to you, he said calmly as he began to remove the bandage from his face. Ravel. His face said with shock as the young demons and the leader's companions opened their eyes in shock upon seeing him. Yabayashiki. Tell me how far you are willing to go for your sister, he said calmly staring at the girl who did the same. Yuri. I'm willing to give my life for her, she said determinedly. Woman. Your life is worthless if your sister kills a human, that life is lost, he said seriously. Issei. I also offer my life, he said seriously receiving everyone's attention. Yabayashiki. Wow, hi do Issei, you're the interesting boy that Mai mentioned, the one who masters 3 different styles, tell me why you put your life at risk for her, he said calmly looking at the boy. Issei. Because I know Nin and thanks to her I was able to face other demons. With her help I managed to win, he said seriously. Rias. I can attest to that, she said nervously. Sona. I too was able to win on that occasion, thanks to the demon girl Haidu, she said seriously. Rias. It's more because of my failure to report what happened with Nin, I also offer my life for Nin, she said seriously while surprising everyone. Surzich, Rias said in disbelief. Yuri. Rias, Issei said with tears looking at those mentioned. Fubuki. I don't believe in the word of the demons, after all they are thieves, he said seriously. Issei. What are you talking about? He said seriously looking at the girl. Fubuki. That sword, she said pointing at the X piece of Sona's sword that was on a shelf. Sona. You're crazy, that sword belonged to my pawn, she said angrily. Fubuki. Lie, that sword belongs to a family that was dedicated to hunting demons. Even the family name is on the sword. She couldn't continue because she saw how the sword had another name. Sona. As you can see, that sword has the name Angel Igarashi engraved on it, she said seriously. Yubuki. How did you get it? She couldn't continue because everyone felt a strange energy. Serafal. What happened? She said confused. Ali. It seems that something stopped the armies of each faction, he said seriously looking out the window. Azazel. It's the Gremory bishop that the half-vampire is using, he said calmly. Rias. Gasper said worriedly. Surzich. We have to do that. He couldn't continue because a magic circle appeared in the middle of the place. Hello fake mass. The meeting gets complicated. Everyone was surprised when a woman with a well-developed body and dark skin appeared before them. After appearing, she looked rather mockingly at everyone present at the meeting, who were quick to become alert. Serafal Kateria-chan, why are you doing this? She said angrily. Kateria. Silence, false Leviathan. How can you ask that question after how they denigrate the demons by making an alliance with the fallen and the angels, and now that I see it, how low have they fallen to ally themselves with humans, she said seriously. Surzich. You don't understand that stupid confrontation between us only causes deaths and irreparable losses, and the humans in front of you are not like you think, he said seriously. Kateria. You have no honor as demons, our ancestors would be ashamed of what demons are now, she said seriously. Surzich. Only you think that, he said seriously. Kateria. I'm sick of hearing that everyone here will die, she said seriously. Well, the roof was completely destroyed and in the sky and earth, a large number of wizards ready to attack. Azazel. Damn, with the army stopped we have to protect him. He couldn't continue because everyone saw how Gasper's effect disappeared. Kateria. But what happened? The cult club. A few moments ago. We can see how Kaneko and Gasper had been caught by a couple of magicians and were now hanging in strange circles while using the half-vampire. Gasper. Sorry Kaneko, I failed everyone, he said sadly. Kaneko. Calm down, we can get out of this, she said calmly while hanging upside down. Maga. Silence, she said seriously while slapping Gasper hard. Kaneko. Gasper said worried as she saw how they beat her partner. Maga. I said silence. She couldn't continue because someone held her hand. Nin. Those present saw the little girl who had returned to her lowly form as she looked at the magician with annoyance. Yuri. Remember baby, you must protect people, not eat them, his sister's words echoed in his head. Asper Kaneko Nin, they both said surprised. Maga. Damn brat, I'll pay for this. She couldn't continue because she kicked him and crashed him against the wall. Maga 2. Damn, there was another one, she said furiously trying to attack, but Nin was very fast dodging an attack hitting the circles that held Gasper and Kaneko, freeing them. Maga 3. Don't escape. I don't continue because Kaneko knocked her out. Asper. There are more coming, he said scared turning into a bat. Kaneko. Damn, we have to go with Butchu, she said seriously while Nin took Gasper and put him in a jar. Kid. Back at the meeting. Azazel. It seems that your plan failed, he said amused. Kateria. That doesn't matter, they will die, she said seriously. Azazel. Vali, take care of it, he said seriously. Vali. Yes, I'll finally have fun, he said seriously as he flew out and activated his armor. Azazel. They don't care if I face her or not, he said seriously. Surzich. Not at all, he said calmly. Michael. I have no problems, he said calmly. Serafal. If you want, do it, she said calmly. Kateria. You damn, if it weren't for you I would be a Mau, that's why I will take away what matters most to you here, she said seriously launching a magical attack against Sona. Serafal. Sona screamed as everyone watched how the attack was about to hit Sona, but at that moment the black-haired girl could only cover herself. Rias. So Sona. Everyone was in disbelief seeing how Sona had defended herself with the sword of the one who was her pawn. Sona. No, she said in shock seeing how that weapon that the man she loved for a long time had broken, losing its tip. Surzich. He was able to protect himself with his sword, he said in amazement. Iseei. The hunter's weapons are strong, that's why she was able to protect herself, but since she wasn't an expert, she was only like a shield, he said calmly, surprising everyone. Azazel. Well, I'm going to stop wasting time so you don't do another stupid thing, he said seriously, starting to fight with the demon. Rias. Sounds okay, couldn't continue because someone opened the door. Kaneko. Butcho, they attacked us, she said nervously. Rias. And Gasper, she said nervously. Yuri. Nin screamed as everyone waved at the entrance watching the demon running in the hallway with a flask on her head being chased by many wizards. Iseei she is, he said curiously. Hunters. The demon, they said seriously. Nin the purple-haired girl stopped and began to fight with her enemies. Something like that. Issei. Incredible, he said amazed. Surzich. He is very agile, he said curiously. Yuri. Baby, she said while running with her sister and hugging her. Rias Georgia Gasper, she said curiously as she looked at the bottle on the girl's head. Gasper. I'm sorry but I was weak, he said sadly. Sirzich. Rias, then you bring up the problem of your bishop, now you must go help, he said seriously. Rias. Yes, let's go, she said seriously while the whole entourage along with Yuri and Neen went to fight. Sona. No, we too, she said something sad while looking at the sword. Ravel. Come on, we should help too, she said seriously while her new entourage nodded. Irina. Let's go, she said seriously, receiving an affirmation from Michael while the two left. Ibai Shiki. My children, help in this fight, he said calmly. Pizados. Yes boss, they said in unison. With the help of the hunters and the rest of the retinues, the battle against the magicians was very even and slowly, thanks to Vali, the balance was tipped in favor of the alliance, while on the other hand, Azazel always had the advantage against Katir, who even used the power of infinity, but it was of little use since Azazel showed his artificial sacred gear. Azazel. I think this is over, don't you think Katie couldn't continue because Vali attacked him from behind? Issei. Because he did it, he said seriously while everyone watched. Azazel. So you are the worthless traitor, he said seriously. Ali. I'm sorry Azazel, but this side is more fun, he said calmly. Azazel. I don't know why I'm not surprised, he said calmly. Ali. Tell me Iseei Haidu, how does it feel that we are on opposite sides? You are a simple human reincarnated as a demon, while I am one of the most powerful beings, a whim of fate, he said seriously. Iseei. I don't know what you're talking about, she said seriously. Ali. I think I should introduce myself properly, my name is Vali Lucifer, a direct descendant of Lucifer, he said seriously, revealing a large number of demonic wings. Sirzich. A descendant of Lucifer, he said in shock. Seraphol. Bearer of the White Emperor Dragon, she said incredulously. Issei. Descendant of Lucifer, perhaps he will be the one who created the new musin, he thought seriously. Michael. If that's true you must be related to Rizavim, he said seriously. Ali. Don't mention my stupid grandfather, he said angrily. Issei. Wow, I thought it was close, but there are not two, which one will it be, he thought with disgust. Ali. Now you understand, you and I are on opposite sides. I as a powerful being and you as a weak being. I wonder how strong you will become if I kill your family, he said seriously. Iseei. No, I will not allow that, she said furiously, releasing great power, taking the balance breaker. Issei. Wow, you've really made progress, he said thoughtfully. Iseei, I'll finish you off. Facing the hacker Yuiku. The atmosphere was totally serious as those present could watch as the battle between the celestial dragons was about to begin. On one side, an ordinary girl reincarnated as a demon, while on the other side, a whim of fate, a half-demon, half-human descendant of Lucifer. Iseei. I'll finish you off, she said seriously as she charged at the albino. Ali. So predictable, he said seriously, dodging the attack. Iseei. Don't take me lightly, she said seriously, holding the boy's arm to propel herself, giving him a knee to the abdomen. Ali. Wow, you really surprised me, he said seriously while using his other arm to block the blow. Issei. Wow, that was a good attempt, it's a pity that it failed, he said seriously. Iseei. I still haven't, she couldn't continue because Vali grabbed her leg and threw her to the floor. Ali. My turn, he said seriously, moving at high speed, impacting with both knees in the abdomen of the brunette, breaking her armor. Rias. Iseei screamed worriedly as she saw blood coming out of the girl's helmet. Ali. How pathetic, a simple physical attack and you're already bleeding, how weak, he said seriously as he approached at high speed, crashing the girl to the ground. Issei. Damn, he said seriously as he saw the helmet break, revealing the girl with blood in her mouth. Ali. You see the difference, Iseei couldn't continue because in a quick movement the girl grabbed her rival's helmet while she had a dragon shoot on her other arm just a few centimeters from Vali's face. Iseei. I got you, she said with a slight smile, leaving everyone in shock, and even more so when launching such a direct attack on the albino. Michael. Incredible to use the situation to your advantage, he said amazed. Ali. Damn, that really hurt, he said seriously while everyone saw how his helmet was no longer destroyed and his face showed some scratches. Iseei. I expected that, he said, rebuilding his armor and launching himself into the attack again. Ali. I was going to be nice to you, now I'm going to make you suffer, he said seriously as he increased his speed and began to exchange blows with the girl. Rias. Come on Iseei, you can do it, she said nervously about her room. Issei. She won't be able to, he said with a little sadness. Irina. Why do you talk like that? Why don't you support your sister? She said a little angry. Issei. I'm a realist, even though the fight looks even, it's more than clear that he's not trying hard, instead she's giving everything to try to win, but the difference is very clear he said seriously, while everyone except the fighters looked at him. Isaac. Then she is as weak as you he said seriously, surprising some when they saw how he spoke about his sister. Arena. Isaac said sadly when she saw what her friend was like. Issei. What right do you have to say that? As far as I remember, I was the one who defeated Reyes and Kobiel. She is fighting a descendant of Lucifer and bearer of a dragon, but you were defeated by a simple fall like Rainer, so you better shut up. The only weak one here is you. He said coldly, looking at his brother. Isaac. Damn you, how dare you he couldn't continue because he laughed and spoke. Rias Iseei screamed as everyone watched a brunette fall to the ground with only her gauntlet and very injured. Ali. What a disappointment, but as I told you, I won't kill you, but your family he said seriously as he turned around to see the chestnut trees. Iseei. Wait you still haven't beaten me she said seriously while trying to move. Ali. You still don't get tired of being humiliated, it's okay. I'll continue a little longer before I kill your loved ones he said seriously, launching into the attack. Rias. Nai-sama please help her she said upset seeing how the albino was about to attack. Issei. Water breathing, first stance, surface cut everyone was surprised to see how the brown-haired boy was in front of his sister attacking the albino. Ali. So your little brother came to defend you he said amused. Issei. I won't let you continue hurting my sister he said seriously, putting himself on guard. Ali. You're just someone who attacks with a sword, you don't scare me, you die he said seriously creating a pair of energy spheres throwing them at Issei. Iseei Nai-sama said on the floor. Issei. Breathing of water 7th posture piercing raindrops he said seriously launching a frontal thrust, stopping the sphere closest to him and destroying it instantly. Ali. Wow, you are more than you seem he said seriously, launching into the attack. Issei. Breathing of water 6th posture sinuous whirlpool he said seriously creating the whirlpool hitting the albino who was pushed back a few meters. Ali. The water won't hurt me much he couldn't continue because he saw how Issei was on top of him. Issei. Breathing of water 8th posture waterfall lake he said seriously launching the powerful downward vertical blow, sending the albino to the ground. Ibayashiki. Wow, he is strong, but it will help him defeat the bearer of the white one he said curiously, while the rest of the hunters looked somewhat surprised at the brown-haired man's level. Ali. Wow, you are much more than I thought, now I will take things seriously, he said as he rose into the sky and began to throw a large number of magic spheres. Issei. Lightning breath, first stance, lightning flash he said seriously as he began to move at great speed, destroying all the spheres and jumping to face the albino. Issei. It will be your end he said seriously throwing the cut. Ali. You got too confident he said seriously, while he had a hidden energy dagger in his hand, burying it in the brown-haired boy's side. Rias Iseei she screamed terrified watching as her chestnut hair fell violently to the floor. Ali. To think that a technique like my rival's would help me defeat his brother has a poetic tone, don't you believe it? Letting you get so close to me so I could hurt you was something ingenious, right? He said amused while putting pressure on the boy's wound. Issei. The brown-haired boy screamed in pain from the stomp while some of those present wanted to go help him, including a certain demon who was being stopped by her sister. Rias. No Issei please Nai-sama let me go, I have to go help him she said upset trying to help her beloved pawn. Surzic. Don't laugh, it's very dangerous he said distressed by the situation while the leaders were ready to attack at any moment. Ali. Wow, it seems that you are very important to your mistress he said seriously looking at the redeed. Issei of course leave her, damn it he said in pain. Ali. Who will stop me you he said seriously creating another magic attack launching it against the redeed. Issei. But you worried shout. Surzic. You will not touch my sister he said standing in front of her. Ali. How gullible Mayu Isifer he said seriously while everyone watched as the attack rose and came back down, having a direct shot at the redeed, but also at a certain black-haired girl next to her. Surzic Serafol Riasona they shouted worriedly seeing how the attack would hit their sisters. Everyone watched in shock as the attack hit both heiresses, but when everything seemed inevitable, a large tornado of fire appeared destroying Volley's attack, leaving everyone present even more in shock as they did not know what was happening, but they would know when they saw the tornado disappear, revealing 3 people. Serafol Sona but what pa it couldn't be she said incredulously. Rias. It's she said in shock seeing the boy in front of her. Sona. Angel. The flame of a fallen one. Everyone was silent, they didn't understand what was happening, but the most surprised were a few demons who knew who he was but didn't know how it was possible that this boy was alive after so many years, while the others present felt a somewhat overwhelming pressure. Angel. Wow, where am I and Euclid, he said confused while looking at different sides. Sona. Angel, she said hesitantly as tears came out of her eyes. Angel. It sounds like where we are and why there are angels and fallen ones, huh? Hello Rias Akeno, he said calmly greeting those mentioned who greeted with a nervous smile. Sona. You don't remember anything of what happened, she said confused. Angel. I don't just remember fighting Euclid Lucifuge and then everything went white, although I do remember that I activated a seal on my sword and my sword, he said curiously while taking the broken sword. Bali. Hey, who do you think you are to interrupt my attack to finish off the Gremory and Citrierises? Said the albino seriously. Angel. The black-haired boy looked calmly at the hacker Yuku walking towards him. Bali. You want to face me, haha, you'll end up like he couldn't continue because the boy passed by going to where Issei was. Angel. I see you're also a hunter, tell me, did you fight against this guy? He said curiously, looking at the boy. Issei. Yes, I was a little careless, that's why I ended up like this, he said in pain. Angel. I see, tell me, concentrate on the total control breathing technique, he said curiously. Issei. Yes, but I only use it at specific times, he said, trying to speak fluently. Angel. I understand if you mastered it to the point of using it all day, you would take a big step and become stronger for the moment, concentrate your breathing throughout your body, he said seriously, while the brown-haired boy nodded. Issei. Ouch, he said when he felt something on his body. Angel. Well, concentrate your breathing on the wound, that will help you, he said calmly, while touching Issei's forehead with his finger. Issei. Thank you, he said a little more calmly while the boy nodded. Angel. Sona, it's true this guy tried to attack you, he said seriously, turning his back on everyone. Sona. Boo, well what Pa couldn't continue because Vali spoke. Vali. Yes I did, even though I had no intention of attacking her, but since I was close, well, one more loss, he said seriously. Angel. Sona answers if she did it, he said seriously. Sona. Yes he did, she said nervously. Angel. I see, then I have no other option, I will finish you, he said, seriously unsheathing his broken sword, releasing a large number of flames. Michael. Wow, that creates a lot of pressure, he said in amazement. Azazel. And I don't know if it's my imagination, but the temperature rose quite a bit, he said seriously while swallowing dryly. Ravel. It's not your imagination, Azazel-sama, even I, a girl who masters the fire element and is accustomed to high temperatures, feel suffocated by the heat that emanates, she said nervously. Ali. You think you scare me because of your little flames. You're just a common human and he couldn't continue because everyone saw how the boy disappeared and appeared in front of the albino, leaving some flames behind him. Ali. But what the hell, when did he move? He thought in disbelief as he saw the boy in front of him. Angel. Breathing of the flame second posture sky in ascending flames, he said seriously launching a vertical cut from bottom to top. Ali. Albion Divi I, the albino screamed in pain as he received the attack without the chance to react, receiving the cut in his chest that pierced his armor. Angel. Breath of the flame could not continue because Vali rose into the air. Ali. How could a simple human like you be able to harm me like that? I was a whim of fate born with all this power, he said angrily. Angel. Normally I tend to hold back, but I never do with beings like you, they only disgust me, he said seriously. Ali. Shut up, don't talk as if you were more than me, he said angrily launching several magic attacks simultaneously. Angel. Breathing of the flame fourth posture wave of burning flames, he said seriously, while launching a circular cut covering himself with flames that served as a shield. Hunters. Amazing, they said in disbelief. Angel. You know, I never understood how beings born with such great power like yours dedicate themselves to hurting the innocent, he said seriously. Ali. What are you talking about? He said seriously. Angel. You see, my teacher had the philosophy that those who are born strong must use their strength and power to protect the weak, he said seriously. Breg. His master perhaps, he thought incredulously. Angel. In my case, I was always marginalized for being weak, for not having magic power or a sacred gear, and that's why I changed my philosophy a bit, and for me, those who achieve great power must protect the innocent, he said seriously. Ali. I don't give a damn about you or your teacher's stupidity, he said seriously, ready to attack. Angel. What you don't understand is that I will defeat you in honor of my master Kaijuro Rengoku, he said determinedly while his body was covered in fire, shaking everyone. Albion. Buddy, be careful. I don't know what he's trying to do, but his power is pretty high, he said seriously. Ali. No matter what he does, I'll finish him, he said seriously. Angel. Breathing of the flame deck could not continue because a voice interrupted them. Iku. Hey Vali, you took a long time, and now I understand why that boy is not normal, he said seriously while pointing at the black-haired boy. Ali. "What are you doing here, Bikuo?" he said seriously, looking at his partner. "Azazel. Biku, descendant of Son Goku," he said seriously. "Biku? Okay, Vali, remember that we have a mission," and he couldn't continue because everyone felt a terrifying aura. "Angel. Show yourself," he said seriously, staying on guard. "Digi, it seems that someone knew how to sense my presence," he said seriously, while everyone looked in one direction. "Vali. You?" he said, scared, while everyone looked at a strange girl. "Oh, little Vali-kun recognized me, I'm so happy," he said happily, while his appearance was more noticeable, showing that he had something engraved in his eyes. "Hunters Ubayashiki Angel. An upper moon," they said seriously. "Issei. Moon, upper moon, the highest level of demon they had in Musen's time," he said in shock. "Lunatress. It seems that the hunters know me quite well, but for now we will not have fun, it will be later, goodbye Vali-kun," she said calmly as she disappeared into the night. "Vali. Biku, let's go," he said a little nervously while he created the magic circle and they left. "Ibayashiki. That was dangerous," he said seriously, while all the supernatural beings looked at each other, as all the hunters and even the Citri pawn looked nervous and some scared. "Angel. It's been a while, Kadi Ibayashiki, I see that you are the new leader of the hunters, your father passed away. I am very sorry," he said as he walked until he was in front of the boy and knelt down. "Ibayashiki. 20 years, Angel, I assumed you had died after disappearing for so long," he said calmly. "Sona. Angel, you know him," she said, confused like the rest. "Angel. He's an old friend." Decisions. Everyone was very surprised to see how a demon that some thought was dead was now alive, and not only that, but he was also known to the demo hunters, implying that his powers could be due to something he learned from them. "Ibayashi. I still remember the day you arrived at the headquarters and how sad you were for not being able to have a power on par with your master," he said calmly. "Angel. Yes, your father received me and managed to calm me down," he said calmly. "Ibayashiki. I see that you finally managed to surpass yourself and you have great power," he said calmly. "Angel. Thank you, and tell me why you are here. It is a little strange to see you outside the headquarters," he said curiously. "Ibayashiki. You see, taking advantage of the fact that a meeting between the three factions was going to take place, we came to discuss certain matters, including the peculiar case of a girl who brings a demon with her," he said calmly. "Angel. Wow, so much information, and I can see the girl who is referring to it and what she thinks about the situation," he said curiously. "Ibayashiki. In my opinion, we don't really know if she will eat a human or not, but what is certain is that Rias Gremory, the young Issei and the sister of the demon, that is, 3 people are willing to give their lives for her, and in my opinion, we should let them show us how things are," he said calmly. "Angel. I see. Hey, you are the sister of the demon. Tell me, you use those swords with one breath," he said curiously. "Yuri. Yes, the breathing of the sound," she said nervously. "Angel. Well then, Oyakata-sama, I ask that the young man and the girl be converted into my apprentices," he said calmly, surprising several with that answer. "Ibayashiki. Interesting proposal, but why?" he said curious. "Angel. Easy, it seems that she is still a rookie, and even though he has a better command of his abilities, he still has a lot to learn. Also, since they are related to the supernatural world, I can better supervise the demon's actions, and if she tries something against a human, I can exterminate her as soon as possible," he said calmly. "Ibayashiki. Okay, but with one condition, you will become the pillar of flame," he said calmly, surprising everyone. "Tsukoho. Oyakata-sama, but why should he become a pillar? Besides, watching over the demon doesn't guarantee that he will devour a demon without him noticing," said a rather serious hunter. "Woman. I think the same, and for the organization he is an unknown, he has not proven to be trustworthy," said the serious boy. "Yubuki. Besides, it's unfair that he hasn't earned the title of Pillar of the Flame like me," said the indignant girl. "Shihomi. My classmates are right," she couldn't continue because Ibayashiki put his finger in his mouth, causing everyone to remain silent. "Ibayashiki. You show anger and displeasure at my decision, but you don't show anything better, any proof or anything that would change my mind. You only show that you are still very young and impulsive and that you don't know how to stay calm in complicated situations, with a long way to go before you become pillars," he said seriously. "Angel. Okay, sounds fair, I accept," he said calmly. "Ibayashiki. Excellent, from today on you will be the pillar of the flame and they too will become your apprentices," he said calmly. "Angel. Okay." So things continued. The meeting continued, while Issei was healed by Asia as well as Iseei, who ended up very hurt after the battle against the White, but the meeting ended well since the peace between the factions as well as the agreement with the hunters was signed, but now only the demons were there, but the attention was taken by a couple of black-haired men. "Sona. You're really here," she said with tears as she approached the boy. "Angel. Yes, it sounds good," he said calmly while hugging the brunette who began to release all the pain she had stored away. Something like that. Sona idiot why sniff did you do it, she said without stopping crying. Angel. Forgive me, he said with some sadness. Seraful rias Sona. So the day ended, everyone left for their homes to start a new day that went by normally as far as possible, since Sona's pawn caused a great commotion with his arrival, as the girls looked at him with hearts in their eyes, thinking that with the new prince, they would have a possible relationship, but their hopes ended when the boy confirmed that he had a girlfriend. Causing a commotion by revealing that the ice maiden herself was his girlfriend. Sona. You had to say it, she said tiredly as she and her entourage entered the club somewhat agitated. Angel. It was that or say no, and you can already imagine how many girls would be after me, that's what you wanted, he said with a smile, while sounding like he was pouting. Sona. Baka, she said blushing and angry. Rias. Thank you for coming, she said somewhat nervous and uncomfortable like the rest of her entourage due to the situation. Sona. Well, laugh, why did you call us? She said calmer and a little happy. Rias. I don't know, my brother told us to be here at recess time, she said a little happy seeing her friend acting a little like she did before. Azazel. I was the one who asked him, he said calmly as he appeared on the club's couch. Rias. What are you doing here? She said curiously. Azazel. I am the new advisor of the occult club and I am here to improve the alliance, he said calmly. Issei. I don't think that's the only reason or not, he said curiously. Azazel. I also inform you that starting tomorrow 2 members of heaven will come to the academy, and he couldn't continue because the door opened. Isaac. And who is that? He said seriously looking at a strange subject. Excuse me, I'm looking for Angel. Unknown location. What news do you bring me, Nagisa? Said a white-haired man in a suit. Nagisa. Good news, Loon Sama, said that mysterious girl who interrupted the confrontation between Vali and Angel. Loon. Speak, he said seriously. Nagisa. I was able to find Yaiba at that meeting that happened in Ku, and if we look for the hunters from that city, we can find them, he said happily. Loon. Excellent news. A little peace. The entire occult club along with the student council and the leader of the fallen looked quite confused at that subject who covered his face with a rather peculiar mask, but removing that small detail, everything seemed to be fine with that man who was looking for the Citri pawn. Angel. Hi, I'm Angel, nice to meet you, he said calmly. Nice to meet you, my name is Higanazuka Hadari III, I was the one who forged your sword, the Pillar of Flame, and those of your disciple, he said calmly, while he took off what he was carrying on his back, showing that they were 2 cases, one smaller than the other. Angel. I see, he said calmly while giving him the smallest one, showing that he had a new Nichiren katana that when unsheathed took on that black tone again with reddish-orange flashes in the form of fire. Higanazuka. Wow, a beautiful shade worthy of a good pillar where his disciple is, he said curiously. Yuri. It's me, she said nervously. Higanazuka. Take these twin swords, they were created based on the ones that were shown to me, he said calmly giving him the case. Yuri. Wow, they look amazing and are very beautiful, she said amazed seeing both swords that began to turn a color half black half white. Higanazuka. Oh, a mixed color representing Jin and Jan. These are the first doubles I've made. I hope you like them, he said, fascinated. Yuri. They are perfect and they are not very heavy. Thank you very much for your effort in forging my weapons. I promise that I will take care of them, she said happily. Higanazuka. Thank you for appreciating my work, he said with tears hugging the girl's waist, making everyone present shed a drop of sweat. Angel. What a strange situation, he said with a slight smile. Higanazuka. Well, I'm leaving. I still have work to do, he said calmly as he stood up and left. Angel. Yuri. Thank you, they said calmly. Issei. What a nice man, he said curiously. Rias. Well, Azazel, why else are you here? She said curiously. Azazel. To inform you that all of you will live together in the same home, including the heavenly messengers and the girl with her demon sister, so that you can have a better coexistence and that the Citri pawn can supervise the girl, he said seriously. Sona. I see, and that would be all, she said curiously. Azazel. No, as you already know, when the holidays begin you will go to the underworld where you will attend a meeting of young demons, right? He said seriously. Rias. That's right, she said curiously. Azazel. Well, not only will they go on vacation and to a meeting, they will also train, since despite being present and being helpful in combat during the meeting, the majority is very low. They need to become stronger. Currently, only 2 people stand out, he said seriously, looking at the brown-haired man and the black-haired man. Isaac. This must be a bucking joke, they are just a couple of losers, if I used that sword, I would be 10 times stronger than them, I don't need to train, I am very strong, he said arrogantly. Angel. Try it, Issei, your sword, he said seriously, while the brown-haired boy just nodded, taking out his sword. Isaac. What do you want me to use it for? He said seriously. Angel. If you think you can be stronger than Issei or use it, show me your power, he said seriously. Isaac. Look at all my The brown-haired boy tried to throw a cut, but fell suddenly letting out a heart-rending scream, scaring everyone. Angel. Miss Argento, I think I'll cure it in the lung area, he said seriously. Azazel. What happened? He said confused like most. Angel. Not everyone is qualified to be a hunter, most of them can wield Nichiren weapons, normally their lungs suffer great pressure to the point of feeling like they are going to burst, but there are cases where they are not qualified and their lungs tear to the point of almost killing them, as in this case, he said seriously. Isaac. You knew I could have died, he said angrily. Angel. You asked for it, you're just a talker who only wants to feel important and who discredits swordsmen with his actions, since having a sword does not make you a swordsman, no matter what type of sword you use, big or small, if there are 2 or 3, you have to have respect for them and not just say if I used that sword I would be stronger. First master all the power of your sword and then look for another one, he said seriously while looking at the boy with contempt. Sona. Calm down, a piece of trash like him isn't worth it, she said nervously trying to calm her lover. Angel. Leader of the fallen, if that's all I'm leaving, he said seriously turning around leaving the club. Rias. You should learn to keep your mouth shut, she said annoyed looking at her pawn. Isaac. But you. 8 hours later. Night had already fallen and we can see the demon retinues gathered at the back of the club watching as Issei and Yuri trained the total concentration technique. Angel. What's wrong? You're too slow. Come on, try to catch up with me. He said calmly as he ran away from both boys. Yuri. Ipo, we can take a break, I just started using the full breathing technique, he said tired. Angel. Okay, take a break, he said calmly. Issei. Thank you, he said falling to the floor tired. Sona. Don't you think you're going too far with them? She said with a drop of sweat on her head. Angel. It would be calmer, but with the threat of the 12 moons I have to have them ready as soon as possible, he said seriously. Rias. We could see it at the meeting, you and all the hunters got very tense, how strong they are, she said curiously. Angel. Very strong, I really couldn't say how much, but I know that in the past the moons of Musen were extremely strong to the point that one of them killed my master, he said, seriously surprising those present. Sona. You're serious, she said in surprise. Greg. I see that he also told you how he died, he said seriously, capturing everyone's attention, but more of the boys. Angel. Red Dragon Emperor, you met my master, he said incredulously. Greg. How could I not meet him, after all he was my partner? The past of a bearer. Everyone was more than surprised to learn that a demon hunter was the bearer of the Red Emperor dragon and not just a simple hunter, but was also a pillar who by the way was the master of the Citri pawn. Iseei. Drake, why didn't you say it before, she said curiously. Drake. Very easy girl, the way you behaved identical to that idiot of your brother, it was more than clear that you would seek to have the power of the hunters and for the sake of Kaijuro's memory, I will not allow it, he said seriously. Iseei. I'm sorry, I know that my way of being before was not acceptable, sorry, she said sadly. Greg. Actions speak louder than words, he said seriously. Angel. Red Dragon, could you tell me what it was like to be my master's partner? He said curiously. Greg. Well, to start, my relationship with him was not like the one my carrier and I currently have, since he was never a supernatural being, but thanks to his hard training and effort to become a pillar and fulfill his duty, he managed to unlock part of the sacred gear, and that was when we were able to interact, he said calmly. Sona. Wow, a human who awakened his sacred gear without the need to reincarnate, wow, he was strong, she said, amazed like most people. Greg. Without using me, he was able to fight my current carrier and would even beat her, he said calmly. Rias. I don't understand, if he was so strong, how strong did the moon have to be to kill him, she said curiously. Greg. Very easy, the fight to protect all those who were present, a group of civilians who were on a train and 3 hunter boys, Tanjiro Kamado, Zenitsu and Inosuke, the 3 of them had barely become his students, he said seriously, while Issei opened his eyes with shock. Issei. He was his teacher, he thought in disbelief. Greg. Also, the demon known as Akaza, the 3rd upper moon, was obsessed with turning my partner into a demon, but he always opposed it, always maintaining his ideals, he said proudly. Sona. And what happened, she said while everyone was paying attention. Greg. When the demon refused, he decided to kill him, unleashing a fierce battle where Kaijuro demonstrated his monstrous power, but the difference was clear, since regardless of his attacks, that bastard regenerated, while Rengoku suffered from the demon's attacks, losing an eye and having several internal wounds, but despite the pain, he never backed down and continued forward. Launching his most powerful technique, the 9th stance, he said seriously. Angel Purgatory, he said seriously. Greg. That's right, but he couldn't defeat him. Akaza pierced his abdomen, but the battle didn't end there, since Kaijuro held Akaza, so he couldn't escape, since the sun was about to rise. But even with the help of his disciples to defeat him, he tore off his limbs and fled the place, leaving my partner on the ground on his knees, while his life slowly faded away. I begged him to make his body that of a dragon, but he didn't want to, since for him his life was over, he said seriously. Rias. I'm running away, but what a coward, she said with annoyance, like most people. Greg. That's exactly what the young Kamado said. He chased Akaza and shouted at him from afar that he was a coward, that hunters fought at a disadvantage, leaving flesh and blood behind, and that they didn't regenerate, and that in the Rengoku fight, thanks to him, no one died, he said calmly, but sadly at the same time. Iseei. Wow, it seems that he was a great carrier, right? She said thoughtfully. Greg. Even though we didn't spend much time together, he showed me the human will and how far they are willing to go to protect each other. I hope that as his disciple you will prove to be up to his level, he said calmly. Angel. I'll do it, you'll see, he said calmly. Wawa message from headquarters, said a voice in the sky. Yuri. What is that? She said confused. Rias. That's it, she said incredulously. Sona. A crow said the same as her friend. Angel. It's the way hunters communicate, he said calmly. Iseei. But I speak, she said incredulously while Angel stretched out his hand and the raven landed on it. Crow. A new mission for the Flame Pillar and his disciples, he said seriously. Angel. What is it about, he said curiously. Crow. 5 kilometers away in a town in the forest to the northeast, children are disappearing, and 8 kilometers south in a town on the banks of a river, girls disappear from their rooms. You must go stop the demons, he said seriously. Angel. I understand, Issei, you will go to the northwest. Yuri, you will come with me to the south, he said seriously. Rias. Why does Issei have to go alone? She said worriedly. Angel. Easy, Issei masters her breathing and knows how to attack and defend herself, while Yuri keeps trying to master sound, that's why she should go with me, he said seriously. Sona. Calm down, Rias. Issei is not weak, and trust him, she said calmly, putting her hand on her friend's shoulder. Angel. By the way, a gift from Oyakata-sama, he said calmly, 2 packages appearing and giving them to the boys. Issei. Wow, hey Ori, he said while looking at it and putting it on. Yuri. It's very nice, she said looking at hers. Sona. And they didn't give you anything, she said curiously. Angel. Yes, but I think it's a bit striking, he said a little nervously, changing his outfit. Sona. You look cute, she said blushing. Angel. Thanks guys, let's go, he said seriously, while the two nodded and the girl took the box with her sister. Rias. Sona. Good luck. The missions begin. The night was at its peak while in 2 different points on the outskirts of the city of Ku, one where there was a black-haired man and a purple-haired woman who were alert since they had already arrived at the town, seeing how everything was in absolute silence. Yuri. The place is very empty, she said curiously. Angel. Too much, he said seriously while looking at the town. Villager. Hey, you guys go back to your home, said a very upset old man. Angel. Calm down, sir, we don't want any trouble, we're just passing through, he said calmly. Villager. Problems, we're already fed up with problems. The best thing would be for you to leave, he said angrily. Angel. I understand, could you tell us what's wrong? Are you having problems? Maybe we can help. He said calmly. Villager. Nobody can help us because the demons have returned, and he couldn't continue because a loud scream shook the place. Yuri. What was that? She said nervously. Villager. Another one, go away, the girl is in danger, he said nervously. Angel. I see, so that's what it was. I think breathing of the flames. Second stance, rising sky in flames. The black-haired man launched a fierce attack behind the girl, leaving the two present in shock when they saw what he did. Demon. Wow, but he's a lightning hunter, and I thought I'd have a double feast today, said a being emerging from the shadows. Yuri. The demon, she said nervously. Angel. Well, you saved us the trouble of looking for you, Yuri, attack him, he said calmly. Yuri. Yes, what nervous scream. Angel. What you heard, do it, I want to see your progress, he said seriously. Yuri. Okay, she said nervously, taking her swords. Yuri. Breathing of the sound. First stance, roar. Northwest of Ku. We can see Issei rushing to the town that the crow had indicated. The brown-haired boy was noticeably nervous since it was his first mission and he didn't want to spoil anything, but he was also worried about being late and that the demon had already attacked. Issei. I arrived, I hope it wasn't too late, he said agitatedly as he began to look at the town, seeing how there were one or another person leaning out the window looking at him with fear. Villager. Boy, what are you doing so late on the streets? Said an old man in a worried manner. Issei. I'm sorry, I'm not from around here and I was just passing by, he said calmly. Villager. You should leave, the town is not safe. At night a monster comes and takes the children, he said worriedly. Issei. A monster says, and he couldn't continue because a crying woman came running to where the man was. Country girl. The monster took him, he took my little one, said the woman completely desperate. Villager. We can't do anything anymore, said the man sadly, while taking the hands of the woman who couldn't stop crying. Issei. I think I can help save your son, he said seriously while sticking his sword into the floor. Villager. Boy, stop playing hero, he couldn't continue because Issei made a gesture with his hand for him to shut up. Issei. I haven't perfected it, but I can use it once. Come on. Beast breath. Seventh fang. Special perception, he said seriously as he closed his eyes and an image of everything around him appeared in his head until he reached a strange house to the north that was in ruins where he could feel the vibrations caused by the little boys crying. Issei. I got you, he said seriously as he ran off in that direction. Villager. Hey wait, what are you doing, he said confused as he watched a brown-haired boy leave at full speed. Village girl. Please bring him back alive. The brown-haired boy, thanks to his training and being a demon, was able to move at very high speed, arriving in less than a minute at the house where the boy was entering without hesitation. Issei. Come out of your hiding place, he said seriously. Demon. Oh but look, we have a hunter here, how nice you come to kill me, said a female demon mockingly. Issei. I see that you understand how things are, he said seriously while putting himself on guard. Demon. Really, tell me how you will save him before I kill him, she said seriously, while in a quick movement she appeared with the child in her arms. Issei. Release the child, he said seriously. Demon. Of course it's not an excellent meal, you know children are the sweetest humans there are, their flavor is exquisite, she said amused as she ran her tongue over the little boy's face, who only shed tears. Issei. Damn, you'll regret it, he said annoyed, ready to attack. Demon. Oh, but how brave, come on, attack and see if I don't kill him first, she said amused. Issei. Damn, I have to save him. My only solution is to attack with lightning breath, he thought, alarmed. Demon. What's wrong? Don't tell me the mouse ate your tongue, she said amused. Issei. Breathing of could not continue because out of nowhere Nin appeared, stopping the demon by decapitating her. Issei. Baby, what are you doing here, he said confused as he watched a little girl take the little boy and run towards the brown-haired boy. Demon. Damn brat, I don't care how many they are, I'll kill them, she screamed euphorically, while the whole house began to shake, causing giant spikes to come out of all the walls, floor and ceiling. Issei. Damn. First success. We can see Angel next to Yuri, the latter was totally exhausted since at her feet was the head of that demon that she faced and managed to defeat with some difficulty. Yuri. And what did you think? She said tiredly while leaning on her swords. Angel. You have a good command of your weapons, but you have a hard time using your breathing. The demon makes the fight last longer and you fall into his game because the more you fight, the more tired you will become and he will have the advantage, he said calmly. Yuri. Sensei and that girl, she said confused as she watched a black-haired boy holding an unconscious young girl. Angel. Behind the demon there was a strange black gap and while we were fighting each other and I took it out, we were lucky that we were able to save her at least, he said a little sad for only being able to save one. Villager 1. Yun saved her, said a man who arrived with a group of people. Angel. If you take it, he's just unconscious, he said calmly. Villager 2. Thank you very much, said the one who seemed to be the girl's father with tears. Angel. You don't have to thank me, I'm sorry I couldn't come sooner, he said, lowering his head while taking out of his pocket many hair ornaments that the villagers recognized. Yuri-sensei said sadly. Villager 1. Don't be sorry boy if lives were lost and that makes us sad, but also think about all the lives you have saved, whatever came here could have gone to another town and continued killing, but they stopped it, that's what matters, it will never hurt anyone again, said the man in a kind tone. Angel. I think you're right, well we have to retreat because there are more monsters out there and we have to finish them off, he said enthusiastically, starting to run, followed by his student. Villager. Good luck. Yuri. Sensei, how do you think Issei is doing? She said curiously, trying to keep up. Angel. I think we can trust Issei and that he has everything under control. With Issei. The chestnut fell again and again to the ground due to the continuous movement of the ground caused by the technique of the demon, who was furious after Nin had kicked her head off. It should also be said that Nin was jumping from one side to the other, avoiding the spikes and protecting the child. Issei. Damn, this is out of control. I have to think, I have to be quick and cut off his head, he thought nervously. Demon. I will kill you both, there will be nothing left of you. No one ruins my dinner, the demon spoke euphorically, creating more and more spikes. Issei. Nin takes the child and takes things out of the house, he said seriously. Demon. Do you think I'll leave them? she said furiously while throwing several spikes at Nin. Issei. Breathing of water third stance dance of currents he said seriously launching his attack creating the opening between the spikes so that the girl and the boy could escape. Demon. Damn you, do not interfere she said furiously releasing spikes all over the place. Issei. Damn, there are almost no points where I can position myself he said tensely. Demon it's your end she said victoriously. Issei. Breathing of water ninth posture chaotic splash he said desperately starting to move at high speed. Demon. What the hell she said incredulously watching how the brown-haired boy seemed to jump all over the walls and spikes, leaving small puddles of water. Issei. I win he said seriously, standing in front of the demon, launching a horizontal cut, decapitating her. Demon. How is it possible that this brat defeats me? She said incredulously as her head fell to the floor and began to disappear. Issei. I did it, huh? The brown-haired boy began to run in desperation when he saw how the house began to fall after the death of the demon. The chestnut tree, with all its strength, managed to get out of the house, which 2 seconds after leaving collapsed into pieces, raising a curtain of dust that, added to the noise, caught the attention of the people who quickly went to see what had happened. Issei. Ugh, I almost didn't get rid of it he said agitatedly. Nin. Hum the girl approached the brown-haired boy while showing him that the boy was safe and sound. Issei. Okay, that's good he said relieved as people arrived. Villager. My little one is alive, you brought him back alive, she said with tears as she ran to him and gave him to her. Issei. Calm down, nothing will take your son or anyone else he said calmly, well the people were in shock and after a few seconds everyone was excited by the news. Villager 1. Boy, thank you very much, thank you very much. I'm sorry about what I said to you earlier said the man sadly. Issei. Don't forget the important thing is that your people will have peace again and if you'll excuse me I have to go he said calmly as he stood up and began to walk. The ILLAGER1. Thanks kid we'll be in your debt. So Issei and Nin left the place happy for having had another successful mission on the part of the brown-haired boy who was very happy to have been able to save the child, but it was not long before they met Angel and Yuri, the latter was very surprised to see her sister. Yuri. Baby but what are you doing here? She said confused. Nin. He just made that little noise while looking at his sister. Issei. I don't really know where it came from, but it was really helpful in defeating the demon he said a little tired. Angel. So if you killed the demon there were victims he said curiously. Issei. No kid helped me protect a child he said calmly. Yuri. I see she said more calmly, stroking her sister's head. Angel. Well it seems that everything went well in both towns, so let's go back home. It won't be long before dawn and we have to rest. Tomorrow is the last day of school and then we will go to the underworld, so let's go he said seriously. I see Yuri hi. Kid. Arrival in the underworld. Classes had ended, beginning the winter holidays where the boys could not celebrate since they had to go to the underworld for a meeting of young demons in addition to having to train to become stronger and in the case of Issei, better master their skills. Issei. Wow, I can't believe we're going to go to the underworld like this he said incredulously looking at a rather striking train. Yuri. I didn't think we would leave like this either she said curiously while carrying her sister's box on her back. Rias. It's really nice, don't you think? Come on, sub she couldn't continue because some voices interrupted her. Angel. Calm down, it won't be calm again the pillar spoke while being followed by the entire Citri clan who looked at his partner and his mistress who didn't stop shaking. Sona. But if an enemy appears again, I don't want danger to happen she said nervously and worried, refusing to get on the train. Angel. Calm down, everything will be fine he said excitedly, carrying the girl and running to get on the train. Issei Yuri. Yes sensei they said incredulously while Rias had a slight smile at the situation. Angel. Hello my young apprentices, I'll see you inside he said happily entering the train at the demands of his mistress. Rias. What a peculiar situation, well the best thing would be to go in, we are about to leave, so let's go. Thus began the journey to the underworld, surprising Issei and company who had never experienced anything like that. Even Nin was able to enjoy the journey since the sunlight could no longer harm her, which made her leave her box to be with her sister, but in the end, the journey ended by leaving the boys at the Gremory house. Yuri. This is incredible she said incredulously looking at the imposing mansion. Rias. I know my family loves this kind of thing she said somewhat embarrassed. Angel. Don't forget guys, I'll be coming tomorrow to start your training. Issei Yuri. Hi sensei they said in unison with determination as they watched the train door close and leave. You've arrived, great, please come in, said a beautiful brunette woman at the door next to a little red-haired boy. Rias. Hello Okasama said the cheerful girl entering with the others. Issei. It's her mother, but she looks very young he said quietly, in shock. Iseei. I thought she was his sister or something, she said, the same as her brother. Rias. How much you have grown, Milikas, said the girl who hugged the red-haired boy. Milikas. Do you really believe that, Aunt Rias? Oh wait, you're the swordsman who saved my aunt, he said with stars in his eyes, running to Issei, who was amazed by the boy's action. Issei. Eh. Yes, it's me, Haidu. Issei, nice to meet you, he said, a bit surprised by the situation. Milikas. I am Milix Gremory, son of the Mau Surzich Lucifer, he said, happily surprising those who did not know him. Issei. Wow, so you are the son of Surzich Sama, he said happily. Milikas. Yes, by the way, in your fight against Razor you were incredible, that water dragon that later turned into a fire dragon was amazing how you did it, he said excitedly. Issei. I'm really glad you liked it, and he couldn't continue because someone interrupted him. Rafia. Calm down, son, don't harass young Issei, said the silver-haired maid, capturing everyone's attention. Milikas. I'm sorry, mom, he said calmly while running into her arms. Then Alana. Well, go to your rooms to leave your things, and then we will eat, said the woman calmly as she left with the maid and the little one. Rias. Come on, you heard my Oka-sama. Thus the group guided by Rias was taken to where they would stay, and later they went to eat, meeting Ria's father. In addition, both patriarchs along with Milikas were able to meet the little demon, surprising them with how peculiar she was and how different they thought she would be, and after a couple more things the day ended and everyone went to sleep. The next day. Citri territory. We can see the two young swordsmen in a large meadow behind Sona's house as they both stretched to begin training, but their attention was caught by their master. Angel. Well, you're here pretty early, that pleases me, he said calmly, surprising both of them when they saw how he carried the box with the baby inside, since they never saw when he took it. Issei Yuri. Good morning, sensei, they said respectfully. Angel. Good morning, and let's start with the training, he said, taking out his sword and placing Nin under a tree. Unknown location. We can see a gloomy place where we could smell blood and where a hooded being was looking at a man who was looking at a small book. Loon. You bring me news of the blue spider lily, said the man without taking his eyes off the book. I'm sorry, Loon-sama, but we still haven't been able to find the flower, said the hooded man kneeling before the other subject. Loon. Then what the hell have you come for? He said, releasing some strange spiked tentacles. There is a small possibility that the flower is in the underworld, and soon it is known from a very good source that Loki is preparing an attack with a small probability of entering the underworld to look for it, he said, trying to sound calm, although he was scared to death. Loon. Interesting. Take 2 lower moons with you so the search will be faster, he said seriously. Yes, Loon-sama, as you order, he said a little calmer. Loon. And you better not come back until you find her. 2 days later. Gremory Mansion. We can see Issei walking around his room like this after a hard day of training, but his attention was caught by his president when he saw her leave Kaneko's room, but she looked sad. Issei. Everything is fine but you, he said, somewhat worried when he saw his master's face. Rias. Issei, yes, everything is fine, she said, trying to look calm. Issei. But you, please don't lie, something is worrying you, he said calmly, staring at the redeed. Rias. Nothing escapes you, well, it's just that Kaneko is trying too hard and her body is resenting the overexertion she's doing, and this could kill her, she said sadly, on the verge of tears. Issei. Why do you do that? He said, confused and now worried. Rias. It's because of her past, you see, she's a yokai of the Nekomata race, in fact there are only 2 in the world, her and her sister, belonging to a family of noble demons, she said, surprising the brown-haired boy upon learning that in a certain way his companion was not half demon and half human as he thought. Rias. One day her sister, hungry for more power, killed her king and escaped, becoming a fugitive, but this caused Kaneko to be treated as a criminal and branded as the worst, but she was saved by my brother and he put her in my care, but since then she rejects her Nekomata side and represses her power. But the moment she trains and strives to increase her demonic power, combined with the fact that she represses her Nekomata power, is slowly destroying her, she said sadly. Issei. I see the situation is really complicated, he said thoughtfully. Rias. The truth is yes, and I don't know what to do. I feel sorry that I failed you as a king, she said with her head down. Issei. Enough, but you, don't say that. I know it's difficult to be a king or a leader, and having to see to the well-being of each one of us is really complicated. Each one of us is different with different problems, and you do the best you can. I know the situation is complicated now, but I know you can help Kaneko, he said with a happy smile. Rias. Thanks, Issei. Farewell. The days have been passing where Issei and Yui have advanced in their progress as hunters since both mastered the total breath control technique, and Yuri has been able to master more sound techniques. On the other hand, Issei has already managed to master all the water breathing techniques, as well as almost all the beast breathing techniques, but now we will focus on his master. The current pillar of flame who was in a forest near Citri territory. Angel. His progress has been incredible, he spoke to himself very happily. If it seems that you are the right teacher, said a voice catching the boy's attention. Angel. Who are you? He said curiously, turning around to see a young man with reddish hair wearing a black and green checkered haori. Tanjiro. My name is Komodo Tanjiro, and I was the one who taught Issei how to use breathing, he said calmly, showing a calm smile. Angel ka Komodo Tanjiro, the boy who defeated Muzan, the first demon king, he said in amazement. Tanjiro. Haha, not only did I defeat Muzan, others helped me, he said with a nervous smile. Angel. What brings you here? He said curiously. Tanjiro. My time in this world is about to end, but I need to do one last thing, he said calmly, but with a nostalgic look. Angel. What is it, he said curiously. Tanjiro. I need the legacy of solar breathing to continue, and Issei is the candidate to do it, he said calmly. Angel. I understand now, he said seriously. Tanjiro. But he needs a teacher to guide him so he can use his full potential, and that's why I'm here. I want you as his teacher to teach him everything he needs to do it, he said calmly as he joined his forehead with that of the young pillar. Angel. What? He said confused while different positions came to his mind among other things. Tanjiro. Take him on the right path, he said calmly as he faded away. Angel. I will, I promise. Bremery residence. We can see Issei lying in his bed asleep, but he was woken up when he felt watched, and when he got up and saw the whole room until he could see 3 silhouettes on the balcony, going to see who it was. Issei. Master Komodo, Master Zenitsu Chief, what are you doing here, he said somewhat surprised seeing his first teachers in front of him. Tanjiro. We just wanted to see you one last time, he said happily, but he looked nostalgic. Issei. I see myself, he well last time, what are you talking about, he said in shock. Zenitsu. After death we can only spend a certain amount of time in the human world before moving on to the other world, he said calmly. Issei. No way, this has to be a joke, he said sadly. Tanjiro. Sadly no, Issei, and that time is about to end, but we are happy because our legacy will continue in you, and I know that you will be able to defeat the demons, he said calmly. Zenitsu. Maybe we won't see each other anymore, but we know that everything is fine because you are our pride, he said calmly, while a few tears fell on the brown-haired boy's cheeks. Inosuke. Don't cry, we knew this would happen sooner or later, but lift your face. In your hands is the great legacy of the beast and don't forget it. Give your best. We trust in you, Issei, he said happily. Issei. Boa said with tears watching as Inosuke became a substance of light particles. Zenitsu. It's time, you can do it, the lightning is with you, he said, well the same thing happened to his friend. Tanjiro. You can, Issei, you are not alone, never forget it, he said staring at him, giving him a big smile, disappearing while a sword appeared in the brown-haired boy's hands. Issei. To rest in peace, I will not let you down, we will defeat the demons. The next day. Event hall. We can see both clans arriving together at the meeting of young demons, surprising most of the young people to see so many demons from different clans, but they could notice the arrogance of some who looked at the others as inferior. Yuri. Wow, there are so many, she said nervously. Sona. It's normal, there are all the young demons who will one day be the leaders of each clan with their entourages, some already have their entire entourage complete. Rias. Also, for most of you this is a new experience, she said calmly. Iseei. I understand, and he couldn't continue because the wall next to them flew away, leaving behind a blue-haired guy and a black-haired guy with violet eyes who stood out for his muscles. Sona. It's strange that this doesn't surprise me anymore, she said calmly, while Rias smiled. Sakvara. You see, immature demons never stop fighting, said a green-haired girl with glasses entering through the hole in the wall. Rias. Hi Sakvara, I see you're also enjoying the show. Sakvara. Well, you see, and could not continue because she saw a certain individual. Sererg. Rias, hello cousin, I see that you have already arrived, impossible, you were dead, he said incredulously pointing at Angel, while many heirs turned to look. Angel. Hello Sererg, long time no see, and let's just say that my death was greatly exaggerated, he said with a small drop of sweat. Sererg. Wow, I can't believe it, he said a little surprised. Issei. It seems that they know each other, he said curiously. Rias. My cousin and Angel identify a lot with each other, and in the past when they met they became very good friends, she said happily. Angel. I hope you've gotten stronger like you promised, he said calmly as he raised his arm. Sererg. You bet, and now that you're here, you don't know how much I want to face you, he said excitedly, bumping his arm into the Citri pawns. Sona. Well, we'll talk about that later, the meeting is about to start, she said seriously as everyone started walking. Issei. Incredible, the demonic world surprises me more every day, he said excitedly while looking at the whole place feeling some fear when the members of the demon council appeared. And so the meeting continued as it happened where the young heirs talked about what they sought to achieve, their goals and purposes. Sona also had to give explanations of how her piece who was believed to be dead was alive, obviously omitting some details, but now Rias, Sona and their groups were gathered in another room for the faction meeting that Azazel had mentioned. Rias. And tell me, Yuri, what did you think of the demon meeting? She said calmly. Yuri. It's impressive to see something like this and to see how each heir or family is unique with its own characteristics, she said calmly. Azazel. And over here are the Gremory and Citri clans, he said calmly, while being accompanied by an older man and a silver-haired woman. Auden. I see, it seems that I am still very young, and this young lady is the famous interesting Sekiruite, he said calmly rubbing his beard. Azazel. Guys, I present to you the leader of the Nordic faction, the father of all Auden, he said calmly, surprising everyone by standing in front of a god, and not just a god, but one of the most powerful. Issei. Of course it really is Auden, the All-Father, he said nervously, quickly bowing like everyone else. Auden. Ha 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 ha, but such respectful young people, that's right boy, I'm Auden, and she's my personal bodyguard Roswas, he said calmly pointing at the silver-haired woman. Azazel. Well, let's go to the living room to start the meeting, he couldn't continue because a voice interrupted them. So this is the false pillar, said a female voice making everyone turn their heads. Everyone looking could see two very beautiful demon hunters, but what they could see was a look of contempt towards the pillar of flame, who was quite surprised to hear what they called him. Issei. Excuse me, said the brown-haired boy surprised. As you heard, this guy stole the title of pillar from someone who deserved it, he said seriously with some scars on his arms. Sona. Who do you think you are to call me? She couldn't continue because Angel covered her mouth. Angel. I see you are the members of the Hunter Corps that Oyakata-sama sent to the meeting, he said calmly trying to control Sona. It is correct, although we are not here for the pleasure of being with someone like you, said the other girl with green hair with a sword bigger than the other. Azazel. If everyone is present, let's go to the living room, he said nervously. Yuri. I don't like them, he said nervously. Issei. Calm down, if the master is calm we should continue like this, and he couldn't continue because he saw how Kaneko left without anyone seeing her. Rias. Kaneko said worriedly going after her and being followed by Issei without anyone noticing. Angel. Be careful, Issei. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.